those picks that they want to look for.
Yeah, and I think the main way that these teams are going to live and die is Primal are going to live and die by getting picks and letting the Seraph get her reset. If they can get one pick, then the Seraph gets her ult reset, and boom, the team fight's really good for Primal. On the other side, Ram Ranch are going to play around the Zinks to try and deny those ult resets, which is why they picked the Zinks. They want to deny the ult resets as much as possible using Zinks ult, and then try and win the fight using their big ult combos.
So it does sound like there's quite a bit on Gwasi here to mitigate what this jungler is able to do, this Seraph, I assume. And if you can get everything kind of on track, then it should be kind of difficult for Mav to find any value on this Seraph.
Yeah, and the big thing is going to be if they can... It just goes down to how each team is able to play. If each team is able to play to their strengths, then it's going to be very difficult for Mav to be able to get those resets. But if his team are able to catch people out, especially in ways that the Zinx isn't able to help, or they're able to play around their CC cooldowns really well, then resets for Mav will just make the fights blow open and really easy to play.
Well, let's not wait any longer. We've got a game to get to and two teams that want to do it and two casters that want to take you through it. I send you now to Sanctuary with HD Philly B and Dr. Shadow.
My goodness, what an absolutely fantastic introduction from Spooky Mars and Wangle. We thank you for stepping in on the desk. HD Philly B here with the marvelous medicine man himself, Dr. Shadow. My friend, it is week 1, game 1, the season opener of PPL season 2. Couldn't be more excited. We have two very different styles of teams, like the desk alluded to.
Yeah, not only is it season 2, week 1, but this is the first, I would say, professional showcase of the 1.6 patch. So we have the introduction of these new augments into this game. So all of the heroes are fundamentally going to be playing different compared to the way that they have been in the past. So those are going to be things that we talk about as they become relevant and as we start seeing their impact on some of the abilities. But it's really exciting to see how drastically the game that we knew 2 weeks ago has now changed in the last week since June 10th. I think it was June 10th. I don't know. I got the dates all mixed up. But either way, super excited. And yeah, to the desk's point, both of these teams, very different in nature. You have the team fighting coming out on the Dusk side here. And then on the Dawn side, you have that pick comp. If executed really nicely with Mav getting those resets on the Seraph, it's going to be real hard for the team to come together to do any team fighting. So very interested to see how this plays out here.
Yeah, I'm just more curious about the side of Ram Ranch. I mean, they have a lot of weight put onto Gwasi here on the Zinks to get the ricochets off and make sure the CC is there, because that's really it. Yes, you have the feast, but does Nivulua really want to expend that willy-nilly? They're going to have to pick their targets well. So not so much lockdown for them. They have kind of like the Bomba comp, right? They just want to dive in and just blow everybody up with huge ultimates and hopefully get some things done here. We have Mav sneaking through the fog wall. They go up, they slam down. There's that stun we talked about, and it's immediate blink, and there's the follow-up there. Nivulua trying to run for their life. Luckily, they have the augment that allows the Shadow Slip to have the extra cooldown reduction, so they can be a little bit more shifty there in the offlane.
Yeah, I was actually just about to say that he is able to do that a little bit more frequently. I really like that pickup because he knows that he's going to get bullied, especially with the Kwang there having the augment that empowers his Strike of the Heavens, by making it stronger and having a faster cooldown. So Sneaks over there, Sneaks is going to be just bullying him relentlessly with that Kwang. So he needs every little bit. But meanwhile, in the mid lane, though, Seismic is forced to blink under his own tier 1 tower after a little pressure coming out from Import there on that Aurora. So just the threat of having that wall getting behind him and blocking him was enough to make Seismic say, you know what? No, I'm good. I'm going to just blink back and get to safety.
Doc, and we see the junglers getting extremely active early on here, and we've casted a lot of Mav and a lot of Import. We know that is what they like to do. Doc, the Wangle said it really nicely that the side of Primal like to play through Seismic, and so they're facilitating him with the augment that increases Bellica's experience gain. If she can get her abilities to the level 5 stack, they get those extra, augments to them, and that really accelerates her growth. So that's just a highlight from Wangle, really impacting and showing the way that they're going to play through Wangle or through Seismic in this match.
Absolutely. That is definitely their game plan there, with Seismic being one of the most mechanically skilled mid laners in the game right now. And on a hero who has the ability to get stronger faster than other heroes, with the bonus 2 XP gain, with the additional bonuses to, when you max out Void Bomb, you get the second explosion, for example. Getting that faster just means you get your power spikes that much quicker. But something that we haven't talked about is this duo lane here, the Kira Zinx paired up against the Twin Blast Decker. It's a very interesting duo lane. Zihi, though, on the Decker, he's a pro. He's the support player, in my opinion. We always talk about rotating supports and how we call that the Zihi. But I'm very interested to see how that lane plays out. But hold that, because Import here in the off lane,
and he's putting Sneaks under duress, goes for the Hoarfrost, doesn't lock down the Quang. He is so dang tanky. Doc, Wangle highlighted this. They're going to play through the off lane here. Import is going to put Sneaks under pressure. And with how strong the Quang is, you have to, because if he is able to leave that off lane and just have a couple items online, Prophecy, Oathkeeper, whatever, Tainted Scepter, he will just crush you. So you have to keep him under wraps there, and they're doing a really nice job of it so far. But I want to head back to that off lane, or the dual lane rather, is that the Zihi picked up the Rocket Boost augment, which allows that decaying movement speed to himself and people around him. And we know Zihi likes to rotate. So if you can unlock him and allow him to do so, you can facilitate the map. And the amount of lane pressure that they have with the grenade augment from the TB, pelting grenades, putting the vaporize, whatever, coupled with the Decker, huge pressure, as you saw them take some plates there.
And it almost feels defensive to a certain degree as well, with the Zinx picking up the Ricochet augment that reduces cooldown for each hero and creep that you hit with it. Also increases the speed at which it goes. So having the ability to quickly shift the movement in your lane to get away, to disable the Ricochet from connecting in the way that might be beneficial to the Zinx. I wish I could be in his brain to understand why what did he pick it for offense? Did he pick it for defense? But I think there's a lot of really cool uses that we might not even see it during this set, but over the next couple weeks and months, we're absolutely going to see what this augment is capable of, because I think it's so cool. Having the ability to just give your teammates a free movement speed boost to be able to play those short trades a little bit safer, for lack of a better word there, being able to jump forward or jump backwards after poking the opposing laners there, I think is going to be really cool to see how that plays out, especially against a Kira and a Zinx who want to be oppressive very early on. So denying them that oppression is really, really important.
And Doc, they want to get that lane prio right now, because the first Fang is on the map. You can see people doing a little cleanup duty, taking some of those wards. Mav doesn't see the one he's standing right on. So Gwassi and company, they do know that could be the stun. Just barely dodge the Shadow Glide. Perfection there from Jay, one of the best in the business. Looks like they know the rest of the team is there. They're going to back off for now. They don't want to give up anything. Sereth, not the best at taking Fangtooth on her own, right? Needs the little bit of support. Import there to stop it up.
And that's also Primal knowing what their game plan is, right? They don't want to fight a full 5v5. They don't want to give an opportunity for the side of Primal to get there, for the side of Ram Ranch to pop all of their ultimates. So they force the disengage, and then they re-engage onto the Fangtooth to try to sneak it. And it seems that Import is now calling to trade out to get that mini prime. So first Fangtooth of the game is going to go the way here of Primal, but that first mini prime might go the way of Ram Ranch here, but Zihi has already rotated to contest this.
And we know that was coming from one of the best supports. Can they get a kill? And there it is. First blood. It's Zihi, the archaeologist, takes down the Queen of Ice. And now the prime has been vacated by the side of Ram Ranch, and it leaves it open for Primal for the taking, and they will steal that one away. Both of the buffs go the way of the Dawn side.
I mean, that's Zihi for you. Zihi and Seismic together, they move to the mini prime as the rest of Primal wraps up that first Fang, which goes down pretty quick. They buy enough time, they don't just shove Ram Ranch off the mini prime. They get first blood. Granted, it's on Zihi, but yeah, it's still first blood. First blood is now off the map, and they get the objective steal. And we still have 4 minutes or whatever to see what they do with that mini prime buff. This is not a great start for Ram Ranch in this game 1 here, but maybe they're just shaking off some nerves as this season gets underway.
For sure. I mean, there is money on the line, Doc. Each win that you get is $100 in your bank account, $100 on your team's name in the PPL Discord. So that really shows, how many wins and losses you have for everybody who's in there. So definitely a lot of pride on the line. I'm actually curious, Doc. I didn't see who got the Primal buff. I think it was Mav.
I do believe it was Mav, yes.
Okay.
So we're going to be seeing him around actually in the mid lane right now. I see some sort of skirmish breaking out. Seismic is very low. The seismic assault though does connect on the import, but I don't think it matters. It might matter. He might get away. Nah, import's too fast. He's gonna get seismic. He does equalize the scoreboard, and he is also gonna look to potentially score this 3 or actually wrap in behind Cold and Zihi.
He does have the extended glacial charge. You can see how fast the crowd size him. The blink proxy is there as well. There's the boreal sweep, and down goes Cold. He can't stand against the Queen of Ice. Zihi, though, hop, skips, and a jump away, but that is a double kill for one of the best junglers in the game.
That I don't know about you, but I think that might have been the first blink proxy criticism that I've ever seen.
Yeah,
at least on this stage of gameplay. Absolutely incredible to see that mechanic in action. The way he closes the space with that glacial charge, and then gets the casting animation going, followed by the blink, and it connects. Absolutely clean. Cold. Unfortunate that he goes down, but consolation prize here. Mav utilizes that mini prime buff with a chef's kiss, taking the mid tier 1 tower away from Maddie at the 10-minute mark. So not only is Ram Ranch down a tier 1 tower, but that is 4 gold plates. That is 440 gold going the way of Primal at this point in the game, most likely just to Mav. I did not see if he had any assistance there, but that is what we were talking about with what we wanted to see, or what I wanted to see with that mini prime buff. Just absolutely clinical coming out from Mav there.
Doc, what's even more concerning is that Maddie Hit was gone Orb of Growth, first item. And now that his tower is gone, he's not really safe to farm the creeps and get the stacks he needs to make it into Enlightenment. So I think maybe the wrong choice there, or that they spotted he was going for it, and then they decided to put the pressure in the mid. But either way, a fantastic rotation there from Mav to take that tower down. We still have a couple more minutes, though, my friend, before the next buffs go on the board. But right now, map control seems to be in favor of Primal.
Primal definitely in the driver's seat right now in terms of map control. They have a nice net worth advantage from the 3 objectives that we've just talked about: Fangtooth, Mini Prime, and that tier 1 tower. So they are sitting comfy with a nice little gentle lead. Yes, the scoreboard is 1-2. However, that 1 kill was first blood in favor of Primal. So Zihi barely misses the stasis bomb there on a recall, but nothing comes out of that, and it looks like Primal's resetting, and they're just entering kind of a lull state right now as the second Fang of the game is going to be spawning. You can see the vision there on the map that Zihi is laying down. The second Fang will be spawning, and the teams are already converging. Import already looking at it.
Yeah, you can see a train of orange just cascading from the base there, Doc. They are ready for it. It's about the offlaners, though. Are they going to come and contest this together with the rest of their teams? They need Sneaks. He's the front line. He's the one that's going to take the damage, and now he's taking a ton of it as he puts down the tether to ward away Nibulua. But my goodness, that might actually be fortunate, so he can reset and get him ready for the Fangtooth. Doc, they put the wards down. Nobody's starting it just yet.
It is still a game of control, but you can see Mav and Seismic in the mid lane looking to contest import. It's a battle of getting a pick, using that pick comp to get a pick, open the door, open an opportunity to get an objective. Again, Primal probably doesn't want to fight a big 5v5, but at this point, with the lead that they have, the net worth lead, it's possible that they could take a fight within a small window. But we're going to see that play out here as Ram Ranch is closing in.
There's the glacial charge. Try to cut off, but it's too late. Mav secures the Fangtooth, and now he's diving in. Jay with the purge, but it is not enough. Gwussy not long for this world as well. Mav with a double kill gets the Fang and gets the frags as well.
And Zihi picking up a kill on Import there, and the rest of Ram Ranch being forced back. Nivilua is going to sit over in that duo lane, just try to keep some of the pressure off that tower, because at this point in the game, they just lost a pretty massive team fight there. Second Fang now going the way of Primal, so that's now bonuses to movement speed out of combat. So Primal in a very, very good spot heading into that third Fang engagement, but the side of Ram Ranch, they have to maintain their towers. That is the biggest thing that they have going for them right now, and that is their way into the game. Maintain towers and try to hemorrhage the bleeding or stem the bleeding before they bleed out. But it's not looking so good, because I believe that was a duo lane tower that just fell.
Yeah, that's more gold going the way of the Dawn side. Now they're looking towards the Prime. They say, okay, maybe we have to equalize by getting the Prime and pushing some towers ourselves. But the entirety of Primal is here to contest, each team engaging. A nice cage there from Zihi. It's all the way to the sky. He puts in the Ion Strike as well. Knockdown 2. A good spacing from Import there. They're trying to still hit the mini Prime, and there's the dive in the crowd size him as well. Mav slams into 2, and there's that mini stun in action. Finally, Maddie over the top with the black hole. He sucks up a couple. Down goes Zihi. Still, the trade of blood is back and forth. Nivilua extremely low, but Cold has not even entered the fight yet, ladies and gentlemen. That's the bulk of the damage still on the way. A nice knock up there from the side of Seismic, doing his namesake. Sneaks trying to really get himself into this one. He is swinging away. The Fury of the Heavens barely whiffs the torn space from Matty Boy. Gets him out of dodge.
Whoo, that was looking so good for Ram Ranch. And then the boys actually showed up and started cleaning up. So that was just a glimpse of the power that Ram Ranch has with their lineup there at that central objective point. The power of Maddie's black hole and the cryosism and the glacial charge causing chaos and mayhem. There is a glimpse of hope there from Ram Ranch. They did not lose that objective, I don't think. I did not see anybody claim it. So the mini prime is still up. So there is still something to contest here. However, there is a vision advantage in favor of Primal. So it is still a very steep hill for Ram Ranch, and it's continuing to get steeper as the game progresses, because they just lost another tower. So that is 3 towers now in favor of Primal. And they need to stem the bleeding. They need to get some wave clear online so that they can regain map priority in the mid lane and in the off lane. Primal already starting the second mini prime now.
This is nuts. I mean, Zihi, Marshall, and Tainted Scepter, Doc. I mean, those photon strikes right there are going to be doing so much damage. Augmentation as well as Absolution for the side of Mab, and he cleans up the mini prime, no problem. He is clad in purple now. Oh my goodness. If you are a Ram Ranch fan, you may be quaking here in game 1. An invade failed here from Import. It's Cure who secures the blue buff and keeps it for his side.
That's impressive that Cold got that blue buff. But that is actually that burst damage that Twin Blast offers out, as well as the wave clear. And hold that, because Import, while failing to get that invade, actually ends up falling there to Zihi, who stasis bombs him from far away, followed up by Seismic with a Seismic Assault. That's funny. I see what he did there. Yeah. But that is a very, very unfortunate attempt to get something on the map. Meanwhile, on their blue side, they are losing Nivilua from an invade with Mav, empowered by the mini prime, and Sneaks, both very, very healthy, looking to pressure this outside tower, or inside tower rather.
And looks like they're gonna back. They're just crashing the wave under it. Maybe they're gonna get their next items online before they do so. But yeah, Doc, the pink comp coming into fruition there. They caught Import out of position, and they took the jungler down. Fortunately for the side of Ram Ranch, no objectives were for the taking, so they didn't lose anything there. Now they can regroup as 5 and contest this third Fang.
However, with that mini prime advantage, with that fast recall, the pressure that Mav was able to apply to that off lane, followed by the fast recall, he is already in the area of the third Fang as it is just now spawning. So Primal, they're going to be looking to really leverage this mini prime buff and get a pick. Import, Glacial charging in is not going to drop down quite yet.
And folks, all the ultimates online for both sides, and there it is, the dive and import the Nova. Genesis is huge for the timing, even better from Zihi. The Ion Strike closes him down the black hole now in a perfect position over the top. He gets knocked right out of it, and it's Mav just swinging in the backline looking for any unsuspecting victim. So many folks are low, and there goes Maddie. He is down. Jay, worse for wear. He's the only one left to tell the tale.
Mav on the back line, cleaning up, getting reset after reset, doing Sarah things. I mean, the game was already looking rough in the very beginning with the first Fang and that mini prime steal, but Mav has continued to clinically pressure the map with his resets, being at the objectives at the perfect time, and just being mindful of where he needs to be in those engagements, finding the backline, getting those kills. I mean, this is the Mav show right now, in my honest opinion. Yes, Seismic has 5 kills, one death, and 5 assists, but Mav is, with his objective control right now, he is the reason that Primal is just pushing forward so aggressively. And as a result of that team fight, they got their third Fang. That is bonuses to offense and defense, in addition to the move speed. So they are very strong right now. And you saw how fast Import got deleted at the initiation or onset of that fight. He was on the glacial charge. He dropped down and he just died. He just disappeared.
Yeah, it seems like the engagement, it's that, like we talked about, that bomba tactic where everyone just got to jump in and just blow the ultimate. But if you're waiting, then you give the opportunity for the pick comp on the other side to come to fruition. So he was waiting, and then he got himself picked. And then it's just, chaos from there, especially with Mav in the backline. Once again, it's on Gwassi. Yeah, he was able to save Import for just a moment, but then that's it. Then that's the Zinx done. Maybe you use the Ricochet, maybe it misses, and then you have nothing left. There's nothing else you can do, especially with how easy it is to take Gideon out of his ultimate. Yes, he has the True Silver, but I mean, you have Neuron Disruptor, you have Stasis Bomb, you have Photon Disrupt, you have every disrupting ability in the game to take the Gideon out of the sky. So a very tough composition to execute here for the side of Ram Ranch.
Absolutely. It is a very difficult comp to execute, especially with the Kira. I think Kira, obviously very strong hero, but paired up into against that Twin Blast, they're just finding it so difficult to maintain lane priority in that duo lane. You can see Kira is being forced back to the duo lane to respond to that tier 2 tower, that inner tower. And meanwhile, Import, keeping an eye on the Orb Prime, is going to get picked out by the pick comp, stun after stun after stun after cage after stun, and he is going to go down, and that is going to be the green light for Primal to walk at the first Orb Prime of the game. This is not looking good for Ram Ranch.
Yeah, and Spooky Mars and Wangle, they said that 0.4 second stun. It's the Wonton Warden, crashing down. It does enough to chain the rest of the CC, but it looks like Ram Ranch, they're not going to give this one up for free. They're going to look for some exit frags, but everybody painted in purple from the side of Primal. It's a black hole over the top. It's a big one from Maddie, but he gets crushed by Cold. They take the Cosmic Wizard down, and nobody is worse for wear off of that one. It just tickled them, and it's a full-on wipe here for the Primal squad.
It was a valiant attempt coming out from Ram Ranch there. Maddie with the black hole. I mean, he's been on point with the black holes, but there just doesn't seem to be enough follow-up within those black holes, and the black hole itself doesn't seem to be doing enough. Part of that is just the snowballing lead that Primal has gained. It's just, once you fall behind, it's hard to get ahead with a Gideon. And again, off the backs of Mav in that fight, it was a very subtle thing, but Mav landed the 0.4 second stun onto 2 or 3 heroes at the conclusion of that black hole, and they just died instantaneously after that stun connected. There was nowhere for them to go. There was no movement or outplay that could shift the tides of that engagement. It's just pure control coming out from this pick comp right now on the side of Primal.
And now their base for the side of Ram Ranch completely ransacked. They lost 2 inhibs, 3 towers off of that. They have so much gold in their pocket. They're going to be hitting, 3-4 item spikes at this point. It's hard to turtle here for the side of Ram Ranch. I mean, your jungle's been cleared. Your creeps are getting pushed in. I mean, what do you do?
It's very challenging from the side of Ram Ranch. Their wave clear is still very weak. They have Nibulua. They have Maddie on the Gideon. If either of those heroes fall, literally one or the other falls, I think Primal just has the ability to just walk into the base and kill the core. Because even with those 2 up, fighting Prime empowered creeps is going to be very, very challenging. So yeah, it's going to come down to navigating some fights, potentially putting a teammate in a bad spot to bait a bad fight for Primal. But Zihi, being the most mobile, most agile support hero, is just able to say, I might be in a bad spot, but I can just jump over the wall here. Joke's on you, buddy.
Oh, and he puts in the cage to separate Import from the rest of his squad, and the trumpets have been sounded. It's Import who is picked once again. He has a target on his back, and rightly so, one of the best in the business, but they're making him look silly with this one. That should open up the Primal Fang. Doc, I do want to point out, Wangle did say Maddie was going to have some unconventional builds, and I'm seeing that one from him with the Orb of Enlightenment into Tro Silver, into Overseer. That's just pure, like, I'm going for the ultimate bomb, and that's all I'm doing. So I don't know how much that even helps with his wave clear at this point.
I do kind of like it, though, I will say. Look, I mean, just looking at their comp on paper, they're lacking beef, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
They're definitely lacking beef, so having that Orb of Enlightenment is added beef to their typical mage. So I think in theory it makes sense, but I think they fell behind and they lost some key engagements early on that has just been very difficult to recover from for them. So I hope that they're not too mentally destroyed right now.
And now they're because of that, they're on this position where they're defending their core. And there's the ventilate from Cold. It's pushing everybody back. It's a massive shutdown, though, from Maddie. Finally, the Black Hole doing some work. They take down the tank. That will force Primal back here just for now. But I think they feel emboldened by the Primal buff. So much true damage. The creeps are in there as well, poking and prodding from the backline. It's Nivyalua who jumps in, and it's a rock from downtown that takes somebody off the board, but it doesn't even matter, Doc, because the core has fallen, and game one will go to Primal.
And I think that at that very last part, if anybody wants to go back and watch the point that was made about playing around Seismic, they literally played around Seismic at that core right there. They all walked in unison with him, basically being a shield for him. He landed 2-person, 3-person Seismic assaults. They got a couple kills here and there. They lost a couple people, but it allowed them to focus on the core by creating a central target for the side of Ram Ranch to focus their efforts on. So that was literally a metaphor for their game plan there. So Seismic having a great game, going 5, 1, and 11. But I mean, Mav with his objective timing, with that mini prime buff, he's looking really, really scary in this series so far.
So it is currently 1-0 for Primal. This is a best of 3 matchup. Let's see if Ram Ranch can make any adjustments, because they are no slouches. These are incredibly talented players, some of the best that we have in the scene. So I know they can bounce back, maybe just adjust something in the draft. But to break it all down and to help us into game 2, we send it back to Wangle and Spooky Mars.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you didn't miss us, because you're going to keep missing my friend Wangle. He's gone. Taking his place is none other than the man, the myth, the legend himself, Dr. It's actually Philly. Sorry, guys, it's Philly. Hi, Philly, how you doing?
Hey, I am doing fantastic. That was a great game 1. I'm hyped that PPL Season 2 is back. I love weekly predecessor. That keeps me interested all week long. I'm hyped for these matches, and it's good to be here with you, my friend.
And you just came off of quite a riveting first match. Let's not mince words here. Primal asserted their dominance. They showed they came to play. They didn't just come to play. They came to win. They showed up in a big way. Mav showed up really big throughout the entirety of that game. So now the question becomes, how do Ram Ranch adapt to this game now? How do they limit what Mav does on the map?
Well, I think in game 1, Primal took the script from Wangle. They just read it. They executed it. Now it's Ram Ranch's turn to take the script from Wangle, and they're going to just execute and do better. No, these guys, they are professionals. They've been in these situations. They don't tilt after losing one game. They reevaluate, and they decide what to do next. Do we ban somebody? Do we prio certain picks instead? So I think the compositional differences will shine through when we get to the draft.
Wow. Certainly a lot of things to be changed. Not least of which is the gameplay itself, right? You always maybe try some things on the map. They don't work out quite the way you wanted them to. And it's never a situation of, oh, guys, we've just lost everything. It's over. It's take it back to the drawing board, see what we can do better, find out what we did wrong, and address it in the next game. We'll have the draft coming up here pretty quick to see what kind of changes can be made in those stages.
And my friend, the best part about Predecessor right now is that no one has really figured it out. Yes, there are some characters that people feel are strong, like the Rampage, like Revenant, like Sereth, but if those are taken off the board, everybody else kind of on the same playing field. Like, you can run a lot of different compositions, a lot of different looks. And so I think this really leaves it open for the draft for either of these teams to kind of excel based on their players. Like Langle was mentioning in game number 1, we want to facilitate Import and Nivulua. Okay, we're going to prio their picks first and then kind of cascade down from there. We're on the other side, we're going to play through Seismic. Let's prio him first, go for those picks. So it's not necessarily the characters they're picking, but the players they're picking the characters for that they're prioritizing in the draft.
Absolutely. And you touched it a little bit there at the beginning. This game has not been figured out just yet. So there's a lot of ways you can approach the draft. Let's get into that and see how things begin to play out. My question, though, is with the introduction of augments, do you feel that maybe there's a couple things that you're looking for? I know you mentioned that Revenant as being a potential for maybe picks or bans. Where do you think he falls in regards to prominence?
That's a really good question. So I think he's one of the top ADCs in the game right now. He can self-peel with his Reckoning, and then he can also root people as well. He has his Hellfire shots, which is like 2-tapping folks. It's a good tank buster as well. So it's good to counter some of the likes of Rampage and some of those other bruisers like maybe Crunch, Grux, etc. So it's definitely... I think he's in a really good place, but we saw how proficient Cold was on the Twin Blast. He was almost one-tapping the blue buff. Like, he was incredibly strong. So I think there's definitely some room there. It's about where they prioritize him. Do they do it in the first phase? Do they do it in the second? It looks like we have 2 already off the board. It's the Iggy and the Wraith.
Yeah, so it's going to be one more ban coming through. Aurora taken away as well. Ram Ranch not wanting to mess around with some of those picks here. Primal does have the opportunity now to ban that Revenant away, and if your first pick, right, you generally want to force your opponents to ban that out if it's something you're looking for. Instead, Primal opts for the Kwang, decides to leave that Revenant open. Now, that does mean that the Sparrow counter pick is an option as well, and Ram Ranch decide, maybe if that pick is there, we go for the Morn instead, lock in our support before we show too much of our hand.
Yeah, I think that's a really good choice there, because before they open their hand with, okay, this is what Nivulua and Import are going to play, then Primal were able to counter it on the other side. Now it's like, okay, Gwassi, you're going to play Morn. That's fine. He's very tanky, very sustainable in lane. That's an okay opening. On the flip side, though, Primal, they're going with Seismic opening again. They're like, okay, you didn't stop him in the mid lane before. Try it again. And then Mav, they're definitely going to, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's going to go in the jungle with that Rampage. And there you go, Spooky. Revenant in the first round.
Well, there it is. Now, this does mean Primal still has the opportunity to pick that Sparrow if they want to. The counter pick is right there available to them. It's going to be instead the Steel locked in for Primal against that Crunch as well. Now, we've got some picks locked in here. There's some flex potential. Now, obviously, we all assume that this Rampage will be in that jungle role. But the Steel has a couple roles he can fill as well. Just looking at this draft right now, what are you kind of thinking?
Yeah, you off lane, but then it's like, okay, what is Crunch? Is Crunch going to be in the off lane? Is he going to be in the jungle? We've seen him more in the jungle than we have in the off lane in recent times. So then maybe, the Steel, they're like, all right, we can kind of flex him. But Zihi, more known for the Enchanter supports than the tanky supports. So it's, it's very peculiar. If Zihi does decide to go, he can do it. It's just an interesting choice on the other side. I like the ban of the Decker, though, from Primal, because, okay, what can we combo with the Revenant that's going to make him really oppressive? Or actually, no, I'm sorry. Because of the Morn pick, the Decker pick actually seems a little bit of a waste, because they could have assumed that the Morn was going to go in support. I apologize.
Yeah, it does seem to be the most likely place. You mentioned a couple things there. Zihi not being super well known for being on these tank supports. Not that he's not competent on them, but when you think Zihi, you are thinking of those Enchantress supports. So after a game like that for Primal, it's a little bit surprising to see them go off of their comfort zone. At the same time, this is week number 1. You're up 1 game. If there's ever a time to maybe experiment with a couple things, it's probably in a situation like this. So very excited to see what Zihi brings. Let's take a look at the rest of this draft. Faye, Grux locked in, and a Countess rounding it out for Primal.
Yeah, this is very interesting. I love the Fae right now. I feel like all of her augments are really good. I mean, people, control, say the Harvest Nettle one, maybe not so great, but the Bramble Patch. I mean, if you run Ability Haste, you can just shoot that out. You make a whole garden. Everybody's locked in. They're super slowed. Your team can kind of like water slide into a fight. And so you're not just like a one-trick pony with the Fly Trap, right? You can facilitate and control the fight a little bit more. And so I really love that from the Fae, because I feel like in the last match, Ram Ranch, they didn't have a lot of control. So that offers some goodness there. And then the Grux, we haven't really seen Grux in competitive play. His augment's a little bit middling, but maybe they're going to put him in the off lane and see what he can get done. To round it out, those Sneaks most likely will play that Countess in the off lane. We've been seeing a lot of off lane Countess so far. Not my favorite thing. I feel like it's tough to navigate some of those fights.
We'll have to see how they decide to approach things. Lots of options. The thing I want to kind of hone in on is this duo lane, though, because I do feel like this is going to be an important one. Sure, Mav had a big impact in that first game, but looking at this duo lane, this is very volatile, right? Because you've got a lot of potential from this Murdoch to have an impact across the map. But if you can't get it started because this Revenant's keeping him down, I mean, what's the play there? Who really has an edge here?
Yeah, that's a really good point. It depends on what augment the Murdoch goes for. If he goes for the long shot that kind of helps his passive, he can add a little bit more poke in the lane. But then the Revenant is really good. He's got the Scar, he's got the Obliterate. He can really push some of those waves, and Morn can keep him healthy. So even if he does need to step up to do it, or he's reloading, you can put the Contagion on him and he can stay alive. So I really do like this Revenant more in duo lane. I think they have maybe a little bit of the edge here.
All right. Well, you've heard it from Philly. Me personally, I'm tired of hearing from Philly. I was expecting Shadow up here, so let's get him in on things. I'm sending both these guys back down to the map. So guys, get ready for some action. HD Philly B and Dr. Shadow will take you away.
Fantastic. Well, Smiggy, good to hear from you, and glad you could send us in once again. And I'm here with the miraculous medicine man himself, Dr. Shadow, and we have game 2 on our hands of PPL Season 2, our opening set of Week 1. Can Ram Ranch fight back here with this comp, Doc?
I believe they can. I mean, looking at their lineup, in the beginning, early phases of that draft, I was a little bit concerned for Ram Ranch because Primal was going all in on CC, stuns, knockups, everything to control. But this composition coming out from Ram Ranch is quite nice. I think they have the tools to cut through this rampage that Mav is going to be piloting. I think with the Contagion, with the Revenant augment, increasing armor penetration, I think they absolutely have the ability. That paired with Maddie on the Fae, who's most likely to be getting a Mega Cosm and a Noxia at some point, percentage-based stuff, right? I think they're going to have more than enough to cut through the Rampage and also the Steel. And so without Zihi, Ana, and Enchanter Caster, I'm really not that worried for Ram Ranch because he's going to be a little less mobile than he normally is.
Yeah, and that's the best thing you can do as a support. I don't care what game you play, but the longer you stay alive, the longer you can facilitate your team. And there it is, sneaking away after that one using the Shadow Slip. It looks like he did pick up that perk as well. That seems to be the choice for Countesses in the offlane. But on the other side, Doc, we do have the Grux picking up the augment that allows him to heal a little bit extra when he has max bleed stacks on an opponent. So that's going to help him sustain in lane against what can be a very impressive Countess here, just nailing you with spell after spell.
Absolutely. It's going to let him just stand there and eat all of the spells that Sneaks is pumping out, because if Nivyalua just holds his ground, it's going to bait Sneaks into a fight. He pops one good double pain, and instantly he's going to have 1/3 HP bonus going on there. Import, though, invading Mav's 5 camp here. We're going to see a little brawl break out here, and you can see Sneaks also looking to move toward Import, and Import looking pretty unhealthy, but Nivyalua is also moving in that direction to provide a little support.
Sorry, our stream just went down there for a second. But the fact that Nivulu was able to do that is because he was so healthy over there in the off lane. And we know that Import is going to play that vertical jungle game, kind of facilitate that off lane, especially against Sneaks. The Countess really needs a power spike, that level 6, to get that extra healing from the Feast online before they can do anything. So if you can keep her down, you're looking good. But Import, not a lot of health. That's not where you want to be on a crunch.
Yeah, Import is straight up not having a good time right now. That invade did go a little south for him, and Seismic is going to try to make sure. Oh, Seismic, he kind of felt out what Import was doing there with that back between the tier 1 and tier 2 tower there. Almost stopped the back, which would have been a catastrophic delay for Import, but yeah, it's still not what you want, because with the crunch, you really need to get that level 6 to really become a very strong hero, especially with the augment that he's picked up, which adds distance to his long crunch, whatever the heck it's called.
Yeah, forward crunch.
Forward crunch, yes. So once he gets that 6, we're going to see this guy speed demoning across the map. Just, I don't think we are ready mentally to see the mobility that Import's going to be showcasing in this game here. So just taking a brief look here at the scoreboard, looking at some of the augments. Seismic, he got that experience 1 again. Cole did get the augment that you mentioned, the increased range and pierce on creeps.
Yep.
So I'm looking to see Cold really be an absolute menace in that duo lane against Jay and Gwissy. However, Jay and Gwissy, they are all in on the armor shred. They got the contagion applied on Eclipse. They've got the 4th shot armor shred. They are equipped. They are ready. That is exactly what I was predicting. Looking at this draft, heading into a rampage. The other one to note is Maddie on that Fae did get the increased range on the Bramble patch. So he's going to be zip, zam, zooming all across the map with him and his boys. And as you mentioned on the analyst desk, if he gets ability haste, he's going to be zip, zap, zooming everywhere around the map. So it seems like mobility is a big focus here for the side of Ram Ranch.
They're increasing the tempo, Doc, is what I'm seeing, right? With the forward crunches, with the Bramble patches, right? They're really going to try to maybe pick out a target, rush them, take them down, and then move maybe on to the next target, where there's some counter dive ability from the side of Primal, right? You do have the Seismic Assault, you do have Boulder, you do have Bull Rush, right? So that they're going to have to play these ones carefully. Once again, the junglers are duking it out. Both the duo lanes, though, show the face just to help either one get out of dodge there. But yeah, very interesting choices. Much to the dismay of fans, though, Mav did not pick the Tiny Titan. Oh, the Warlord's Challenge, massive from Nivulu. No first blood given over there. But like I was saying, Doc, no Tiny Titan for this one.
Oh, sorry. Seismic looked to be in danger. He did have blink. He was forced to blink from that pressure coming out from Import in the mid lane there. Sorry to cut you off there. It was looking like I'm bloodthirsty right now. These two teams are doing the same thing that they did in game 1. No kill. It's 6 minutes in still, so we are just at the edge of our seat waiting for this first blood. And Nivulua getting away with 10 HP against Sneaks' Countess over in that off lane there, stopping it, being forced to use his Warlord's Challenge. So now he's at a slight disadvantage heading into that re-engage. But Nivulua, he's not even going to the off lane. He's walking toward the Fangtooth because Primal are prioritizing these objectives, just like we saw in game 1.
Yeah, but he doesn't have Feast. He doesn't have Blink. So this is very contentious there. The Blood Tide just moves through, just moving people away. And now it will be up to Zihi playing the big bulldozer himself. He's going to be guarding this pit. But look, all 5 members collapsing. And you can see the side of Ram Ranch. They're scattered around. You see people still in their lanes. They're okay with giving it up. I mean, that's sometimes the call you have to make. Knowing you're out of position, knowing your timing was a little bit off. Sometimes you got to give an objective up, and there it goes. The first Fangtooth down goes the way of Primal.
Yeah, and I think it's okay. I prefer what I'm seeing in this game compared to the last game where they tried to trade objectives when they weren't ready as a team. Ram Ranch had started that mini prime, and their clear took forever, and Primal did a really good job contesting it. Flytrap, though, comes out from Maddie on the Seismic. No blink. The crunch knockup is going to be enough to pressure him down, and that is going to be first blood going the way of Maddie. That is a huge first Flytrap coming out from Maddie in the mid lane there with the help of Import. So Ram Ranch already off to a better start in game 2 than in game 1. Yeah, they gave up that Fangtooth, but
Yeah, you'll trade it, right? You know, the captain of the squad, Seismic, is the one you need to take down. You know, it's like cut off the head of the general, and the rest of the troops kind of
Yeah.
fall over. And so they've prioritized that well, but now they're prioritizing Sneaks. He gets under the tower safely. That is what we've seen from Import. He's increasing that tempo in the jungle, Doc, so he can be all over the map.
And that's what the post level 6 crunch is capable of. This guy is everywhere and nowhere all at once. So we're going to see him. It looks like he's backing. He's going to get a reset, and he's going to start to look toward his duo lane in that direction. Hopefully the duo lane, oh, maybe not. I think he's actually going to be looking at the mini prime here because he has a sense that Mav and Seismic are potentially looking at it. Meanwhile, in the duo lane, Zihi forced a blink while under his own tier 1 tower. Oof, that feels bad. That always feels bad.
I mean, you get hit with one like 4th round shot, your health gets chunked, and then you know the obliterate is still online. Yikes! But now we're fighting over the river bug and for positioning around this mini prime pit. It looks like so far it is the Ram Ranch getting the better of these trades. Berserker Axe online now here for Import. As soon as he's dashing, and you know he's got a double dash, he's going to be doing some damage. Right now, just patrolling a little bit. They're waiting for Seismic to step out of position. And there he goes. Yep, there's another Untamed Growth. Can Mav save the day? Another rock from downtown, but they think it's going to be a little bit too late. But Seismic almost turning it. The Seismic Assault comes through. There goes the mid laner. Import out like a shot from the forward crunch. He's leaving Maddie to his own devices. He has to blink out of there. I believe the fly trap expended as well. By the skin of their teeth, they make it out alive.
They make it out alive. They give nothing back. And a lot of cooldowns were expended on the side of Primal. They're still pretty healthy, though, so they are in a better position to look at this mini prime. But, the feast comes out onto the Morn here. Gwussy in danger.
Yeah, he is extremely low. No contagion in the world will save you from that. A massive boulder from the side of Mav locks down the support, but Import has something to say about it. He is back from base already. That's how quick he can be. The bull rush in from Zihi, the shield slap as well, and it Sneaks who gets in there and finds himself a kill. Mav almost dead here. He dodges the smash and grab from Nivea Lua, does go down to the bleed, and it's Zihi who finishes him off. Now the Prime will be open for the side of Primal.
Oh, that was a scrappy fight in Primal. They do come out on top there, though. I liked what they did there after they won that kind of initial engagement, forcing Maddie's blink and knocking Import back to base. They made a move, kind of feigning a look at Mini Prime. The Eclipse does come out in the knockout, but Mini Prime is secured. Gwussy might be in danger here, trying to get a pick off here with the help of Maddie and Import.
Yeah, they are extremely low. There's the Bramble Patch, the reach, and the stinging nettles peg him in the back, and down goes the steel. Sneaks, he's running for his life, but that is all she wrote. Import finds him on the back end. They get some exit kills after the mini prime goes down.
It doesn't matter what I say. This crunch, just he dies or he goes back to base. It doesn't really matter because he's there. He is just covering so much ground. I feel like he's having the amount of time to get across the map, all while this entire engagement, that 4-minute engagement for that mini prime onto Seismic was happening. Cold has taken. No, yeah, never mind. I'm blind. I can't see towers. I was gonna say all the meanwhile he was getting tower plates, but in fact I am wrong there. So, but he didn't go down. He didn't really do anything, but he's just been accelerating his farm. He is at 10 CS per minute, so Cold's feeling very, very good still. They're not really down too much on the side of Primal. They're up in Fang Teeth. They're up in Mini Prime objectives. They're just down 2 kills and a first blood. Ram Ranch, though, putting on the pressure by speeding up this tempo. This Import character, this Import crunch is just blazing fast right now, and they're already on the second Fang Tooth.
Yeah, and they're bodyguarding it. No wall from Zihi will stop them from taking this Fangtooth. He does dive right in, and now the fight breaks out in earnest. A big fly trap yoinks in two, and now they're diving right upon him. A massive one there from Matty Boy. Another Bramble patch to control the battlefield. Doc, this is exactly what we were talking about. Mav is swinging away. He does rumble onto 2. Gets a little bit of a clap back, but it is Jay who finishes him off. 4 go down for the side of Primal, and it looks like Import of the gang will take down the Fang.
That is a 4-4-2. Very, very favorable for Ram Ranch. In addition to that second Fang of the game, bear with us, folks, for this would not be a predecessor event without a replay issue. So it is, that is not an internet issue. That is a replay bug. So just bear with us if it happens anymore. But you always ask me, Philly, you always ask me what team has the superior team fight. And I mean, got to give a slight edge to Ram Ranch just because of the Fae. Having your mid laner who has a big ability like Fly Trap. Yes, Seismic Assault on the Bellica can be very powerful and very impactful, but the Fly Trap, there's just something about having that big R button. Just you saw the power of it pulling two together, and those two just got evaporated right off the rip there in that engagement. And the tank shredding power, Zihi, yeah, he's a support steal, but he's still kind of tanky. He's got some beef on him. He just vanished. He ceased to exist. He went from 100 to 0 in 4 seconds. So the power of the shredding composition on Ram Ranch is really starting to be teased out here. Mav still a threat, but Gwissy is getting closer with every minute. Gwissy is getting closer to that threshold where he is going to almost be unkillable, and it's going to be very challenging for Primal to get the picks that they need to open up a window into some of these objectives.
And that's what I was going to say, Doc. Where's the damage coming from? I mean, Mav is just taking the brunt of it right now, though. He has to blink. But yeah, the damage has to come from Murdoch. But if you're going to rely on your one ADC to really put in the bulk, is Murdoch the guy that you wanted, right? So I don't know, in comparison to some of the other ADCs out there, like the Kira, like the TB. So it's very interesting to where that damage is going to come from. There it's coming from across the map, ladies and gentlemen. Cold with the snipe.
I think Nibulua, I mean, he got the solo bolo on the sneaks, kind of a solo bolo with the help of the Eclipse from Gwissy, but I think he stayed in the lane there to force Seismic to apply that pressure from the mid lane to the off lane, forcing that rotation, opened the window for Maddie and Import to take that mid-tier 1 tower, and they are now looking to invade. There's unfortunately nothing for them to invade, but they got the better of that trade, in my opinion, by getting that mid tower, and they're going to look to do something in this duo lane as well. So Ram Ranch are playing their game, and I love what I'm seeing right now.
Doc, I thought they were going to go for the wraparound and kind of pinch them under the tower. I feel like they could have gone with it, but they have to play around the fly trap, which is online. We have a double teleport coming across the map, and it will be a full-on fight here in the duo lane. There's a rock. That was huge. It does lock down Gwissy. He has to blink to get out of there. And that was a huge Rift Walker and Shield Slam from the side of Zihi. He claps into 3. There is the fly trap, though. It yoinks in a couple of them, the bramble patches there as well to control the battlefield once more. Mav has to jump out. He's holding the rock. He has to throw it right at Import. It doesn't even matter. He clattered into him, punched that rock into smithereens, and it will be the side of Ram Ranch just battering through.
Zihi with the Rift Walker's shield slam. It looked like he was clapping, but it was his cheeks that got clapped in that engagement. Unfortunately for them, Primal come out on the bottom there. Okay, I'm going to stop. But they lost 2-0. Import just putting on a clinic right now with this crunch. The uppercuts that he is pumping out, just the perfectly timed knockups, seem to be almost giving like a seismic assault-esque feeling to when he's hitting them. And all the meanwhile, again, by forcing that rotation that Nivula did before that engagement, he opened the door for Import and Maddie to rotate to the duo lane. What that did is that forced Primal over to the duo lane, which then opened the door for Nibula to take that off-lane tier 2 tower. So Primal are just hemorrhaging towers right now, and they still haven't gotten one of their own off the map here. So there's a huge net worth advantage right now in favor of Ram Ranch heading into this second mini prime.
Doc, and we talk about it all the time. It's a chess match. It's a give and take. And right now, Nivulua and Import just thinking 5 steps ahead. There is the Eclipse. They're trying to look for Seismic here in the mid lane. It's Import. He's just battering into him once again. They find the Lieutenant. They send her and demote her back to spawn. It's the shield. Zihi now has to use the Bull Rush. He tries the rock, but it doesn't matter. Jay, the 4th shot, connects to go down in the mid lane. Doc, it's Nivulua, though, I think is the unsung hero here, because a lot of people say, off lane, they don't do too much. They kind of just sit there, but he's made the rotations to allow his team to make the rotations so he can put pressure on the map all across the board. And so taking 2 towers in that off lane, that is huge to then cut the feet out from under sneaks once again.
Nibulua definitely playing the macro game right now with his team. Import obviously leading the charge with the rest of the gang, but Nibulua is playing he's playing chess while the rest are playing checkers. And as a result of everything that just played out there, yes, Ram Ranch is going to lose their tier 1 over in that off lane, but that is going to be the third Fang of the game. Second Fang going the way of Ram Ranch, which means they have the bonus 2 movement speed out of combat. They are already in a much better position than they were in the previous game. And this mini prime, it is still up. It is still waiting to be claimed. As you can see, both teams already starting to converge, already starting to get some map control, some map presence around here with both junglers sweeping and trying to control.
Yeah, this could be a huge fight. You feel like Primal, they need to win this one just to maybe get a little bit of gold and experience in their pocket, and even more so to deny the purple buff away from Import. Looks like they are starting it right up here. It's going to be Maddie, though, in the mid lane. He's going to try to keep them dancing over there in the brambles so they can't contest. It looks like he's doing a great job of it. The mini prime goes down, Doc, but will there be any kills off the back of it? No. This time, it's Primal who gives up the objective for free.
Primal give up the objective. They are looking to claim a tower on that duo lane side, giving that local gold to Cold, who has kind of fallen, I don't want to say behind, but he's not gotten ahead in the way that I think they want him to as their empowered ADC player. So he's definitely doing what he can to scrape by and get bits and pieces there. So that it was a good call by Primal to not contest that objective and instead give Cold a chance to get back into the game, to get to a point where he can enter and allow Mav to do rampage things so that Cold can just pump damage like the ADC that he is and that we know he can be, as arguably one of the best ADCs in the entire game. So we can see, though, Primal, they're looking to close out this middle tier 1 tower here. They need to equalize the map, but Ram Ranch, they're applying pressure with Nivulua playing chess over in that duo lane.
Yeah, let's see how that one shakes out there. It's Zihi. He's on the chase, does have the bull rush, does have the dynamo online, so that's a little extra damage should he connect on a stun. Doc, something that's concerning for me is Seismic is only 1 level up, and he picked the augment that gives him that extra experience. That's just showing how much Maddie has been participating in these fights, getting those assists. He did go Combustion first, now has the Megacosm online. We're looking at the creep score now here, Doc. Not too much separating the sides.
I like that Combustion pickup. It's quite nice against the Countess, against the brain fart, the Bellica and the Murdoch. It offers you a slightly better wave clear to keep up with Bellica's oppressive wave clear that she gets from level 2 onward. So it's a really, I personally really like that pickup into the Bellica specifically. In many cases, you can just get away with a Megacosm and your wave clear will be fine, but specifically into the Bellica, you need better wave clear. So I do like that. Both teams, though, the Orb Prime has spawned, and Import Nivulua might have caught Zihi here.
The smash and grab, but the bull rush. He does have the unstoppable, so he can, move beyond it. Doesn't deny the Warlord's challenge, but it will be Import. He gets collapsed upon, but the fly trap is there. The Bramble Patch, though, to lock everybody in and slow them up. Mav, he has to take the brunt. He has to be the meat shield, but he says, I can't do it anymore. He blinks out of there, but followed up by Nivulua. It goes for the double pain and chops the fish into the sushi master in the offlane.
Oh, no.
Seismic. He misses the train, misses the flower. Now he won't be long for this word, trying to get an exit kill, and he won't. It is Matty Boy takes down his counterpart from the mid lane.
Matty Boy with the clutch fly traps. I mean, Matty, we have nothing negative to say about him in this series so far. Even in game 1, when Ram Ranch was all in all just falling behind by all accounts, he was still playing quite nice. He was hitting all of his big ultimates, and in this game, it's no exception. It just so happens that the fly traps are having more of an impact now that the rest of his team is playing the game. And I think part of that is Import. Import is on a hero that's actually enabling him to do things across the map a little bit better than his Aurora was. It felt like they were lacking damage almost in game 1, and in this game, with this Import crunch, they are not lacking damage at all. So they are definitely picking very nicely in these engagements. But that fly trap into the Nivulua smash and grab, absolutely devious combination. Cold might be caught out here.
This is a devious combination of crunch forward, up, left, and right, doing all the right buttons. It's Zihi who has to protect his precious golden goose in Cold. Doc, something that I want to... It's almost like a surprise comp coming out here from Ram Ranch. They're just like, surprise, it's Import, surprise, it's Nivulua. And then you focus them, and then it's just not Jay, it's just Maddie in the back line. Here's some plants, here's some brambles, here's a fly trap, and you're dead. So I really like the way that they're doing it. They are clad in purple here, ladies and gentlemen, so they feel emboldened enough to take down the Primal Fangtooth. They're hacking and slashing at it. It's about how can the side of Primal engage. They're looking for it. Zihi, he just jumps over the top. He doesn't even care. Mav now slams down into the dirt. He gets the reckoning put upon him. That's perfectly done there from the side of the Revenant. He's taken out of the fight. It's Import. He's extremely low. Will he fall? Just not yet. The healing from the crunch is sublime. It's the Void Drone, though, that's doing a ton of work. When it's all said and done, the dust is settled to go down, but the Fangtooth stolen by Mav.
No, Mav didn't steal it. That was a cold steal from across the map.
What?
Long arm of the law blasts through the pit at the last second. Yes, Mav was in the reckoning, so Mav actually had no opportunity to steal it. But as that laser beam came through, the Primal Blaze onto two really across the map. So that's Nibulua and Cold with the Primal Blaze, and they equalized the Fang Teeth. So what looked to be a disaster for the side of Primal, saved by the marksmanship of Cold. I mean, we were already hyping him up, but Jesus, like that's crazy work from him. We will have to double check the City just to make sure who got the kill on it. But I mean, I saw the Fangtooth die when that long arm of the law came through, so I'm giving him credit right now. But incredible save from what should have been a disaster. That should have been the third Fang for Ram Ranch. That would have been the bonus to offenses and defenses. That would have been double bubble buff. That would have likely been all the outer towers and potentially all of the inhibitors taken away from the side of Primal there. But they recover from it. So very nicely done.
Doc, what's even crazier about that is that two members from the side of Primal, they were on the opposite side. They pushed that tier 2 in the off lane to equalize and got half of the inhib down, as you can see on the map, folks. And it seemed like Mav and company, just 3 of them there, they were able to put in a good amount of damage, cause enough mayhem for things to go down. So definitely a good split there. Now Cold, he's feeling a little bit better about his situation. He's got 3 items online now. They're looking to press the issue, knowing that maybe the purple buff is gone down. They have the Primal Blaze upon them. There's going to be a fight here in the duo lane for this tier 2 tower, but it's all the while. It's Sneaks. He's creeping through the back door, trying to take down that inhibitor in the right.
And he's utilizing that Primal Blaze to take the advantage in that trade against Maddie's Fae. Meanwhile, in this tier 2, there is going to be an engagement with Zihi laying down that shield wall to try to just stem some of the damage as they just slowly siege. But their wave clear is not superior to what is happening right now. So it's going to be a tough siege. Definitely not impossible with the state of the game right now. Zihi, though. Zihi... Just I want to call back to that Fangtooth engagement. The way Zihi jumped in first to get the numbers, the HP numbers on the Fangtooth, and then you saw Mav clinically jump in right at the last second. That was all planned. That was not coincidence. That was them communicating on comms, sacrificing their lives to make sure that they could get that steal. But unfortunately, the Reckoning did take Mav out of that. But they're very much back in this game because of that play there from the boys, from Cold getting the steal.
I love it. Steal with the steal, trying to facilitate the team. But that is why you're never down and out, folks. There's always a play to be made. There's always some teamwork that can be done. And so these professionals are putting it on display for you. We still have, Doc, it feels like a long way to go. A lot of the tier 2 still up here for either side. The Prime, excuse me, looks to be up here in maybe just a few seconds. That's going to be where these teams clash next.
Yeah, the map state right now, it was previously in favor of Ram Ranch because of the macro checkers or chess, whatever. I don't know why I keep saying checkers, that Nibulua was playing across the map. But Primal has done a really, really good job recovering and claiming back a lot of that net worth. Now to the point where they're ahead in towers. They have 2 tier 2s. But we see the teams, Nibulua with the smash and grab onto Sneaks, might be breaking out a fight here, but with Maddie on the bay, he's just looking to poke. You saw that combustion, that penetration, that pure damage, not literally pure damage, but just the damage, getting Countess Sneaks to half HP before this fight even breaks out. And they're waiting. They're doing something cheeky. They're feigning an Orb Prime, waiting for Primal to approach.
Well, they know they have the numbers advantage because Sneaks had to go back to base to heal. And now with 2 out of position, the Seismic Assault does connect onto the Bramble Patch through, but they are locked down. Mav goes big. He's a behemoth now. He tries to slam in, but it's a shield slam from Zihi, who tries to at least cut off the retreat now. It's the support who will sacrifice himself to go down Cold. He's a little bit late to this party. Doesn't have a 6-pack with him, though. He's looking for Import, the Stasis Crest to save his life. A heads-up play there from Maddie. Cold, he's now running for his life. The hot pursuit, keeping him out of harm's way. But now it's all just a cleanup duty for the side of Ram Ranch. The ranch needs to be swept, and so they do a full-on ace for the side of Dusk.
Full on ace for the Ram Ranch boys. Fantastic play there, utilizing their numbers up advantage, utilizing the pressure that Maddie applied before that engagement broke out to take that fight. And after that engagement, they are looking to take out this tier 2, most likely taking the inhib. I don't think they have enough time to end the game, but they're likely going to take that advantage into that Orb Prime or the Fangtooth. It's really up to I think they're going to go toward the Fangtooth. Oh, they might be looking to end it here, actually, because they do have enough time. That inhib fell a lot faster than I thought.
Oh my gosh, yeah, they were just cleaning this up. The alarm sounds are blaring. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a game number 3 here in our season opener of PPL 2. We are tied up 1-1 between Ram Ranch and Primal. This is a set you do not want to miss. Doc, what a contest.
That was an insane game, and this is an insane series to open season 2 with. I mean, game 1, I was like, Primal, they're just going to wipe this series. Game 2, Ram Ranch came in, and they said, psych, you thought, brother. And 7-0-8 on Jay with that Revenant, 5-0-18 on that Faye, 1-2-20 on that Gwissy Morn. I mean, the boys were just cooking in that game, and I really like their switch in tempo. So I think that's something they need. I would recommend carrying over into game 2 is put import on a tempo hero, because whatever they just did, that worked phenomenally for them.
Absolutely. Well, folks, we're going to send it back to Spooky Mars and myself to kind of break it down.
We're back with this guy again. Well, you know what? We take what we can get here. Thank you so much for the cast. Philly, I mean, what a phenomenal performance coming out from both teams there. I know in game 1, we talked a lot about how much Mav was doing, how much Seismic was doing. In game 2, I think it's a lot harder to narrow it down to what one person was doing across the team because so many people had such a big impact. I do want to highlight a couple, though. Notably, Gwissy and Maddie there. 25 kills on the team. They had participation in 21 and 23 respectively. I mean, those are numbers that are just insane.
I mean, I'm not a mathematician, but that's got to be like, what, 90% in terms
Something
of
like
kill
that.
participation. Yeah, that is incredible. What's even more impactful because of that is the gold that you get from those assists, which then power spikes them even more. That Morn got to the unkillable point, just stood there, took a bunch of damage, didn't even care that people were shooting at him. That facilitated Jay to do a bunch of work.
I think the doctor pointed it out one time here where, yeah, Belica has the augment to give herself some extra XP, but she was only 1 level up on Maddie because he was just getting so much XP, so much gold across the map.
Yeah.
And with a performance like that, it's very difficult to ask yourselves as Primal, what do we do to keep them down? Because when you're looking at it from Ram Ranch at game 1, you think, okay, Mav was allowed to do too much, Seismic was allowed to do too much, limit them more and slow their roll. If you're Primal, what do you do looking at this? Or do you even look at what you do to the enemy team? Or do you focus on what can we do different to make this different in game 3?
So I think it came down to, like Doc said as well, is the jungle tempo. Import just kind of dictated the entire game. I'm doing this, we're going here, this person's dying, I'm dashing over there, blah, blah, blah. And they just couldn't get out from under that foot or under the fist of the crunch. And so Mav, the Rampage has a weakness, folks. He's not all, infallible. He can die, he can go down.
And
he did a couple of times, at least in that one. But yeah, so I think it's that tempo in the jungle. Got to keep import from doing import things.
Well, that does it for game number 2. But, my friends, that means we're in a tied game state, 1-1. It all comes down to one final match. Third game. Who can do it, Primal or Ram Ranch? Find out after the break.
The earth will open wide, and I'll follow you inside, 'cause the only hell I know is without you. Someday when galaxies collide, we'll be lost on different skies. I will send my rocket ship to find you, because I know you're lost when you run away into the same place.
No,
Okay.
incorrect. It's by me deciding that I'm right. But I like where your head is at, Shadow. So let's follow through with that. Let's kick it over to Sanctuary with HD Philly and the Shadow.
Oh, Spooky Mars, one of the best in the business, folks, keeping us laughing all night long, and we appreciate you sticking with us for this game 3 of our opening set for PPL Season 2. $100 on the line for one of these teams. Doc, I know you've already kind of hit the points, through the desk, but I'm seeing the microwave composition and a true dive coming out from the Dawn side here. That will be the Primal squad. We've seen it cook before. We've seen it also fall flat as well. But this is, like we said, some of the best of the best. So I feel like they'll be able to execute on this comp.
Absolutely. This is a stark contrast to the games 1 and especially game 1 Primal that we saw in terms of team composition. Game 2, a little bit more trending in this direction, but now we can see that they are leaning into the team fight composition, which really can be the best of the best if you have that ability to coordinate with your teammates to really lock in and press the buttons at the best possible time. And if there's a team in this entire PPL league who is capable of doing that, it is absolutely Primal, with some of the most decorated names in the entire game on this team. I am hopeful that we're going to see the microwave combo actually cook or fry somebody. Is it just cook? I don't even know what microwaves do. That's not my field of study. But either way, we're going to say cook. So I'm optimistic we're going to see that. But we do see the Chimera invading Mav utilizing that bonus to his physical damage by being in the enemy jungler, invading Import here.
And they're duking it out. Rarely do we see jungles go this toe-to-toe and a nice Highland hurl there. The Ruthless Assault to combine. And it's a Bramble Patch, though, but it will be the first blood from Mav. He secures it with the invade. That augment beefing him up.
That augment is crazy town. Just the bonuses that you gain, not just by being in the jungle, but by being in the opposing side jungle, showcasing the power of that hero in early game engagements there against a Terra of all heroes, who can be quite tough, especially with the pure damage she can pump out. So that is not a good start for Import. And we talked at the end of game 2 about the tempo that Import brings to the team determines win or lose for them. And Mav shutting Import's tempo down early, that could just be the stick in the proverbial wheel, if you will, for the side of Ram Ranch.
Yeah, I would definitely like Chimera's clear. It's a lot faster than I think Terra's is, and he provides a little bit more jumping into lane. He can, ambush, then cull, things like that. Whereas the Terra, you really have to Highland hurl, try to lock somebody down, then follow up with the Wild Rush, etc. So definitely a little bit more difficult to execute than what the Chimera brings. Doc, and especially with that first blood, you would think that they're going to contest this first Fangtooth really quickly. They've been getting the first objective pretty much almost every game. It feels like they're really objective heavy, this Primal team.
Yeah, can you imagine if Primal was on the Dusk side? Then I'm curious how that works with the augment. If going to Fangtooth from the Dusk side, if that activates it, it does activate. So that would be freaking crazy. So definitely expect a power spike at the mini prime. I would not be surprised if he maybe prioritizes that early and uses that to rotate into the Fangtooth, because early Fangs did not pay dividends for them in the last game 2. So I'll be interested to see what he prioritizes with this power, and you can already see him going for another invade, looking to deny more resources from Import.
And not only that, Doc, Mav is vertically jungling so that Import can't play this side and can't help out Nivulua, because that's their tactic, right? Get both of those tanky boys really beefy. They can absorb a lot of damage and allow the rest of the team to do what they need to do. Well, if there's no jungle on that side to safely take, you won't go over there because you're losing experience. So now Import has to play the vertical side on the duo. So you can see him there in the blue side kind of looking around, trying to figure out what to take. He goes back to base because he's like, there's nothing I can do.
Yeah, there's nothing for him to take. There's nothing for him to do. Fangtooth isn't even up yet, and his duo lane is being pressured underneath of the tier 1 tower. So things are overall looking very, very good for the side of Primal right now. They have the map tempo. They have the pressure in all the lanes. We can see duo lane has reset. Mid lane has reset. They are going to be beefed and ready to contest this Fangtooth if Ram Ranch looks at it. Nivulua, though, might be in danger.
The Subjugate, the Phantom Rush, but it's the Tesla Dome. Ooh, that one comes out, sneaks. He blinks in. Oh, he does have the augment for the Spear of Near, so he if he tosses it, he can get some refund on it. But that one goes wide, and the Spectre will remain alive. That does open up the Fangtooth, though. Import, he's the first on it. He's hacking and slashing at the dinosaur. Now it's Mav. He's ready to jump in. He's going to take on Import toe to toe. He has a level on him. The Fangtooth, though, still battering against the shield of the Maiden. She'll be hacking and slashing. Another ambush comes in. The Fangtooth, though, secured there by Import. Oh, the missed blink from both. They can't get over the wall. The lamp, it does do some cooking now. Another ambush in from Mav. He finds a 2 in the pit.
Primal, I think they made a mistake at the onset of that engagement by going to the off lane and doing what they were doing over there against Nibelua. Yes, they got the blink, but they expended that Tesla Dome ahead of the first Fang engagement. If they had Tesla Dome there, and if they were all there at that location after they had reset, I think that fight goes a lot differently. But hey, they get 2 kills. They lose the Fang, but they get 2 kills, and they are still feeling quite good. And as we saw in last game, right, Ram Ranch, they conceded the first Fang Tooth or 2, and tempo was still okay because they were doing other things on the map, tower pressure, orb primes, things like that, getting kills, keeping the opposing side down. So I think that might be the vibe that the side of Primal is going for in this game. They're not too worried about getting those early Fang teeth because they are looking to just get wildly strong so that they don't lose future Fang teeth.
Yeah, it's that snowball potential. You can see some of the level disparities between the squad, mainly looking at the Chimera and Mav at level 6. Definitely has the call online, so we'll be looking to make some, ambushes from the fog wall, fight over the cyan buff. I believe Nibelua is able to steal that one away. The Phantom Rush as well, the Brimstone helping him out there, but now Mav is on the case. He's just going to set the wave here a little bit, head back into the jungle. Doc leveling out. Nobody's really making too many moves. There's nothing on the board yet for either of the sides. No Fang Teeth, but maybe the Prime on the menu.
Yeah, Primal, they're looking at the mini Prime, and Import, I don't think it either cares or knows, and is looking at the mid lane here. He's looking at Seismic, who is baiting at half HP. Excuse me, just hiccuped. Baiting at half HP, but Import should be privy to. Nope. He didn't even seem to care. Either he didn't care or he didn't know. I don't really know, but Mav now has the mini Prime there. It looked like Import was trying to make something happen in the mid lane because Seismic did not rotate the same way he did in the previous games. So Mav now, with this mini Prime buff, looking to contest this blue, and he is going to get it. He does get the steal on the blue, and he's just going to jump over the wall and get out of dodge. So Mav getting away with war crimes against humanity, against Import's jungle economy here in this game 3. He is coming out with something to prove, and he is just absolutely decimating Import's tempo.
Doc, this is for the folks at home, pure jungle gameplay. This is how you counter jungle. This is how you forward think. This is how you strategize against your opponent, being one step ahead of what they are going to do. Here's a Coliseum, though, dropped upon Import. We've seen this 1v1. They're just targeting him. Another ambush comes through. Doesn't even need the call. They hack and slash down the jungler. Import dead once again.
Oh, Import is straight up not having a good time, but that is just a testament to how good Import is as a player, that Primal is putting so many resources into shutting down this jungler, giving their team a chance to play the game, because game 2, frankly, was super rough. Import ran that lobby. He was game 2, and they are putting all of their resources in the basket of shutting him down with the hopes of just taking him out of the entire game, which as a Terra is very easy to do. Once you fall behind, it's going to be very hard to enter these fights because he might not he might get to a point where he's not able to get to the back line as he's supposed to, because he's just going to die so fast by falling so far behind.
Doc, so I was watching some tier list videos from the side of Joe You're Truly and Pinzo, both of them rating the Terra extremely low. They said, why would you play this character when there's other characters like Boris that you could play, or Crunch that you could play? So maybe a misstep in the draft where they're like, okay, well, Crunch was banned out. Maybe we get a Terra, which is kind of like a budget Crunch, but you can see where it's lacking right now on this hero.
Not really certain what we're watching there in the mid lane with Maddie. It looks like he was texting his girlfriend or something. He was definitely just kind of hanging out there. But yeah, Terra, like why would you play that hero over other heroes in the game who have stuns or have ways to get back into the game after they fall behind? Terra doesn't have necessarily that mechanic. It's very difficult to play those fights. But second Fangtooth fight breaking out here.
And there it is, a massive fly trap. It only sucks in one, but it's the most important one, and that's the jungler. He is down. They started it. Can they finish it, folks? That is the question. The rest of the team does show up, and it is cold. He's in the pit, and he is firing away. Does find his counterpart there in Jay, and now it's a complete bloodbath here. And that's what we want to see, the Tesla Dome in this fight. It is cooking people now that we're trapped inside. A massive colossal blow hits onto two. A home run hit from Nibulua. He dives into sneaks and takes down an untamed growth that will spring from his corpse. Speaking of corpses, Zihi will be the next on the chopping block. It's a double kill for the mid laner. They're moving on to the Fang.
They are moving on to the Fang, but Maddie, he's playing the zoning game against Seismic. Glacial Charge is going to keep Seismic off of the Fangtooth for now. It's at 1700, but Gwassi, yeah, okay, yeah, there we go. Mav tried to get the steal there, but it does go the way of Ram Ranch. Mav does show up and get a kill onto Nibulua as an exit kill there, but all in all said and done, that is two object. Oh, and he killed Import apparently. So yeah, that's two kills, two exit kills after a lost fight there, but overall slightly favoring Ram Ranch in that engagement because they now are two Fang Teeth up on Primal here with that bonus movement speed. Mav, though, he did go down in that fight, but it doesn't feel like he died. He just got a double kill. He's back to having a bounty again, just like before the start of that engagement.
And Doc, you can see how clinical they are. They move right onto this mid-tier tower so they can get a couple plates and open up for the next Fangtooth, because that's really their target, is Fang number 3. They're going to be looking to get some power spikes online. Mav looking for the Tainted Blade next, though. This has the Serrated Blade online for now, which will do that little blight damage, which will be very helpful against some of the heals, some of the healing items that might come out from the other side.
Yeah, especially if Import, once we see him, if he gets Mutilator, that'll definitely be helpful. The Rift Walkers, though, comes out from Gwassi with the Cryocism here. The Hoarfrost does connect, but it is not enough damage, not yet, coming out from Jay on the Drongo to take out Cold. So Zihi and Cold still just chilling with the help of that Contagion, buffing up their armor, buffing up their ability to take these fights, to take these trades and heal and take more hits because of that bonus to armor that it gives.
And Doc, that was their chance. That was their engagement, right? They're like, all right, you're under tower. You can't really back up anywhere. Let's force the issue. And you feel like they didn't really get a lot out of it. I wasn't scared for them, the other side of the Dawn. So I don't know. We'll see. But another colossive blow hits Sneaks under the tower. He has to dodge. He goes for a desperate Coliseum. Maybe gets a stack. No, it's Import. Finally gets himself on the scoreboard, takes the Gladiator down.
But meanwhile, Mav is hunting in the mid lane, looking at Maddie. He's not committing anymore, but he is looking. Actually, he is going to run at Maddie. But all the meanwhile, though, after that pickoff, Import moving to the mini prime. Maddie, though, he gets called in the Tesla Dome, is forced to blink under the safety of his tier 1. So that is 2 big ultimates expended onto Maddie's Fae, and they don't even get the kill on him. And it doesn't seem like Primal knows about this mini prime that's going on right now. So Import might just be able to get this. Meanwhile, Nibulua, trying to defend mid-tier 1 tower, is not going to be successful.
A desperate play there from the Severhog, but maybe just to buy a little bit of time, right, for that prime to go down. And so it does. Just an interesting rotation there. Either they didn't care about the prime or they didn't know. They didn't have any vision, Doc, as the vision game is strongly in favor of Ram Ranch. You can see they have 4 wards so far on the map, but this is exactly what they needed to get their jungler back in the game.
Yeah, Import definitely needed this. I don't know if maybe both junglers are just kind of having a gentleman's agreement to just ignore the mini prime buff, because just like we saw in the first mini prime where Import was just totally oblivious, it seemed similar there in that situation. Now Import applying pressure here to Sneaks with the Highland Hurl. Nibulua is going to pressure, he's going to Reaper dash forward, and the Subjugate connects, giving stacks. That's 10 stacks to Nibulua there, and this is exactly what Mav has been trying to prevent from happening this entire game so far. But it seems almost inevitable at this point. It's happening. Import is enabling his offlaner. Who could have guessed?
Wangle may have guessed that one or shook the magic 8 ball to let the crowd know. But yeah, as soon as they realized now it was Import's turn to play the metagame. All right, if he's over there, then I'm over here, then I can do this, that sort of thing. And now they're able to cut the wave here and get a few more stacks for Nibulua and take this tower down. That's massive for them. Now some resources being brought over from the Dawn side.
That is a lot of good resources, equalizing the map state on the field. Obviously, it's not the tier 1 tower, which would be, or the tier 1 tower mid lane, which would be ideal. So Primal has the edge in terms of map movement and control. However, they equalized the economy across the map, and they didn't lose anything on the other side of the map in the duo lane or near the Fangtooth or anything like that during all of these movements. So for the side of Ram Ranch, that was ideal. That was a really good series of events for them to get back into what felt like a very challenging game due to the pressure that Mav was applying to import. But Mav, he has hit that second item, Power Spike, so he is going to be a little bit of a danger threat now, but we can see the teams converging for this third Fangtooth because Ram Ranch cannot be allowed to have that.
Yeah, would be massive boon to them. And Seismic, he's a little bit out of position. He wants to poke. There is the Eclipse. It puts contagion onto everybody now. Caught in the microwave just a little bit, but they all dash out, Doc. That's a massive ultimate expended. They didn't have the Coliseum to follow up, but there is Gwassi caught out, uses the Cryoseism, but it was all for naught. That will do a little bit of damage, but in the trade war, looks like Primal will come out on top.
Yeah, I think we need to leverage higher taxes onto them because that would be how you win a trade war, right? So Primal, though, even without picking Gwassi, if they had just ignored him, they still came out on top in that engagement. They were overall ultimately far more healthy than the side of Ram Ranch heading into that Fangtooth. So very successful team fight. They get a pick. They deny the third Fang from the side of Ram Ranch, and they get their first one onto the board. So now when they look toward the Orb Prime, I don't think Mini Prime will spawn before 20 minutes. But when they look toward the Orb Prime, that means that they will also be having that extended duration to that buff. So great pickup there for the side of Primal. It seemed like a small engagement, but very important to deny that third Fang from Ram Ranch.
Doc, Cold is running over a ton of wards there, and there's some people lurking at him. Right now, though, it is Sneaks. The Siphon just barely tickles his back there. And now Mav, he's feeling like a raid boss. He jumps right in onto Import. That's been priority target number 1. Both the offlane and the junglers, they clash it out with axes and hammers alike. But everybody backs off here just for now. Doc, there was a big fight there. I want to emphasize Gwassi a little bit more. He picked the augment that enhances his Cryoseism. The fact that he expended it there a little bit willy-nilly when he knew the fight was lost, maybe a little bit detrimental because he needs it for this lane. These guys are so beefy right now.
Yeah, it was definitely a undisciplined moment. I think there are certain times where you just need to accept, hey, I'm out of position. I'm going to die. That's okay. Like, it happens, right? We're all humans. We all make mistakes, and that's part of the game, right? Who makes fewer mistakes usually wins. But I think pressing the R button in panic there wasn't follow up. Nobody was near him. I think it was a big detriment to them, but it doesn't seem to matter because they took the tier 1 tower in that duo lane, further extending their economy lead by about 400 gold or whatever the total net worth across the map is when you kill a tower, but several hundred gold net worth in tower economy going the way of Ram Ranch. They're up in objectives by just 1 Fangtooth, so still very much neck and neck. It is 8-6 across the board. Still anybody's game. It just comes down to, again, who makes the most mistakes. And really, I'm impressed with Ram Ranch. They are staying in this despite how much heavy pressure has been applied to Import. Speaking of which, here it comes. There's some more pressure on Import.
Oh my gosh, they can't let this guy live. Holy moly!
What was that?
That's the augment, the Gravebreaker. Just it hits him out of the park. That's crazy to watch that. We gotta applaud D-Dog for capturing that moment in earnest. My goodness, salvation online here for Mav. That is a huge buff to him. He has so much HP at this point in the game. Sneaks, though, running onto Nibelula. We haven't seen him get any stacks yet so far, Doc. This could be the moment you put the Coliseum down, but on the biggest guy in the game. A Cryoseism there is huge from Gwassi, though, to lock them both in. Mav has to expend the blink and leave Sneaks in the dust. He can't be taking this on, but maybe he will. He sees Zihi and the rest of his team before he goes down. He goes one more ambush, then is the Tesla Dome, locks a couple people in, but that's really just to split the fight, folks. Unstoppable popped here from Import just to get out of dodge. Now, are they chasing down some of the remnants of this? Cold, he's joined the fight. He's laying in a couple of shots, but he is a little bit worse for wear. One more hit to him will do it, but it's Seismic on the back end, tosses in a couple of abilities. The security gate does almost lock down the Drago, but the wit from the Morn will do it. It's a turnaround here for Primal.
They were chasing down the remnants, but what they failed to do was they failed to kill the revenant faster. So Cold got to stay alive way longer than he had any right staying alive, which meant that he was just shredding all of the three frontline heroes on the side of Ram Ranch, right? That's why you pick the Morn and the Revenant, is to shred tanks, and he was doing just that in that engagement. The way he was skirting around that arc shot teleporter pad, like he should have been dead 10 seconds earlier. But due to the split nature of that fight, it was really, really challenging, difficult to get to him, because if somebody from the side of Ram Ranch stepped onto the platform, they teleport to the other side of the map. So very risky situation, and played to perfection there by the side of Primal. Yes, they ultimately lose the Revenant, but he stayed alive and he probably got 8 shots off before he died.
Yeah, massive damage. Doc, we still haven't seen the true microwave combination yet with the Coliseum and then the Tesla Dome on top. They've been using those abilities separately to kind of, divide the opposite team and make them confused in these fights. When the comms are all crisscross, like, who are we targeting? Who is this? Go for this person. Go for this person. Then nobody goes down the other side. They stay alive. They take you down because their comms are a little bit cleaner because they know the plan they want to execute. I think that's what happened for the Revenant to stay alive just a little bit longer than maybe he should have. We do have Zihi. He's making a rotation here to the offlane. Doc, he's got Gaia Greaves online.
He is definitely cooking. He's got Gaia Greaves and the Tainted Charm. So he has a lot of HP. He's a super beefy boy who runs super beefy fast. And that's exactly what we talk about when we talk about getting to that threshold where you essentially become unkillable. Both teams, though, starting to posture here. A team that comes out on top in this engagement. The Coliseum, though, is dropped.
And there's the dive in right there from Sneaks, but he might have thought better of it. Finally, the microwave comes through, but the team was already split because of it. The dive not coordinated to perfection. Mav, he's not going to be long for this world. He gets hit out of the park. Now we have it looking towards the mid lane. We have 3v3. The dive doesn't get a 10 out of 10 here for this one.
The dive, I'm holding up a 1 out of 10 sign there. I think I would give him a 10 out of 10 for the vision there, but the execution, or follow-up rather, was quite lacking. We did not get to see the microwave do any cooking, because it does seem like Primal's doing exactly what you talked about, right? They're utilizing those 2 big ultimates that could theoretically be used in tandem to really split the side of Ram Ranch, to isolate targets so that Mav has 1 or 2 people to jump on rather than 5 heroes all at once. And that's exactly what a Chimera wants, right? They want to have fewer targets so that they don't just get bursted down instantaneously. Very similar to the way a Terra functions. So, Ram Ranch playing those fights in those big ultimates very nicely, staying together appropriately. And as a result of that engagement, they are going to secure the Orb Prime of the game for themselves, getting that purple buff. So they now have 2 Fang Teeth and that Orb Prime buff heading into this fourth Fang engagement of the game, which is a Primal Fang. But they are looking to claim their 3rd Fang of the game, which is going to, if they get it, give them a boost to offense and defense. It is a major, major power spike that Ram Ranch absolutely needs to pull ahead in this game.
Doc, look how big Nivulua is. Those spikes, they are pointy. And you know that his passive through 1.4, though it seems a while ago, it increases a lot of he gets extra abilities, right? Because of that. So now he's feeling very, very strong. Has the Unbroken Will as well. So that way he can, recover from some of those stuns and abilities just a little bit more quickly. You can see the teams now, folks, they're posturing. They're looking, as Doc has set the stage here for us. This could be an all-important fight. Hasn't been a lot of kills out here, but the kills have been even from both sides. It's about setting the tempo, setting the posture. Doc, maybe they're gonna go for a tower instead, just to open this up a little bit more.
I was going to say Primal definitely had the advantage heading into that Fang engagement if it broke out, because of that tier 1 tower sitting in the mid lane, which meant that Primal could just walk away. However, with that Orb Prime buff on the creeps, that tier 1 tower did not stand a single chance. They take the tower, they shove creeps into the tier 2 tower against Primal, and they are feigning an engagement here to try to break out a fight, to try to get a pick, to try to open a door so that they can get an engagement here.
Doc, but that tower served its purpose because it allowed the ultimates to come back online. So we do have Coliseum and Tesla Dome that can work in tandem call as well. The Eclipse could help them here, but if you're looking, all the diamonds lit for both sides. Nivulua, though, dashes in, doesn't have the Colossal Blow, though. Now it's about the follow-up here. The Coliseum does get dropped. The Tesla Dome here has to be used for defense instead of offense. And now the microwave is cooking, and it does find Nibulua. He's turned into tenders. The rest of the team does follow up a shrapnel cannon. I'm seeing the fly trap as well. Ultimates just littered the floor here in the mid lane. One go down for either side.
That's not great for Primal. They lose their jungler. Yeah, Nibulua falls for the side of Ram Ranch, but with Mav falling, that's a 45-second window that gives Ram Ranch an opportunity to potentially look at an objective, even though it's a 4-on-4. They have a slight advantage. Yes, Cold is still up. He can still reckon import out of an engagement, out of a Fangtooth to create a 50-50 scenario. But this essentially denies the side of Primal the opportunity to start that objective, because Chimera can very easily just sit on the objective and not die. But hey, we got to see the microwave. The microwave tenderized that Sevarog, and then Cold just came out of the fog wall, just pumping those fourth shot Hellfire rounds into him, making the Sevarog look like just a piece of butter against a hot knife. Absolutely impeccable combination there, and I'm always happy to see it, because I'm usually a doubter when I see that combination picked up in a draft.
Well, the combination right now is to unlock this Primal Fangtooth. They already started, and they are burning it. It is the side of Jay who's just cleaning them up with the Revolver Gwassi. A nice glacial charge there. Now the Tesla Dome online, and that's secures it, Doc. That's another steal with an ultimate from the side of Primal. There's the Coliseum. It is dropped once again. It is Jay. He is just pestering into him. He takes down 2. The fight is chaos here outside of the pit. It is Mav now. He is just jumping on any stragglers, and he takes them down. 4 dead for the side of Ram Ranch, and they don't get the Primal.
Oh, that's got to destroy your mental. I don't even know how you recover from that. They were feeling so good. They were feeling so even that they could take that engagement. They started the objective. They burned it down. But Primal showcasing their absolute god prowess at the objective. The way Cold pulls import into the reckoning. The way they just split up the side of Ram Ranch and pick them apart systematically, just from all the different entrance points. They didn't all enter in the same way, so there was no singular way for the Aurora, Gwassi on the Aurora, to just glacial charge and block them out. Absolutely devastating, and now Nibulua left to defend by himself for about 7 seconds here, but it does appear that the call for Primal to back off to just close out the rest of the map is going to be made.
Yeah, they're going to take some of these lingering tier 2s, get a little bit of extra gold. There's a massive colossal blow. It hits them all the way into the interior. That's crazy. The shrapnel cannon into Z. He's back. He's not going to survive after that one. The rad rounds will get him, but that is a huge play from Nibulua to keep his team at least in it. They save one more tier 2.
Yeah, that's a reminder to the folks at home that augment is 30% bonus to colossal blow distance, and then each level of spikes you get is another 30% distance. So it's like what, 120% colossal blow distance. So you know, when we see stasis bombs or Argus Dreadnovas, we always shout Kobe. What do we say when we see a colossal blow like that? What is like the equivalent for baseball? I don't even know.
Babe Ruth? I don't know. It's like it's a babe. Chat, help us out here. Coin the term for the scene, because the massive colossal blow, that is huge engage tool.
We're definitely going to be seeing that more as this meta plays out. But here's the fight breaking out. Gwassi with the criticism.
And that was huge. That extra augment extending the rage, the Coliseum, as well as the Tesla Dome expended into that one. And it will be the member of Mav. He does die for the trouble, though, after all is said and done. The Eclipse, though, from the side of the Morn, just to allow his team to retreat. There's no way they can go for it. Gwassi, he leaves himself as a piece of dangling meat to separate the sides. They do retreat after that one. The support for the jungler.
He was also Gwassi also kind of got stuck in the pit. It was hard to see on camera there, but he was attempting to get out, and Orb Prime was just laser beaming him with his little laser visor. So Gwassi was just in a tight spot. So he made the best of that situation by basically jumping out of the side, making himself visible to the side of Primal and saying, "Hey guys, look at me! Ignore the rest of my teammates. Look at me. Ignore them. Look at me." So I think he did a really good job there. You can see Import here returning to the lane here to just try to reestablish some lane control. But the boys on Primal actually standing on a ward there it is going to reveal them going back, but they know that Nivulu is on that duo lane side, answering to the super creep waves pushing into the duo lane because that inhibitor has fallen, which means there is approximately 3.5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes left for Primal to have a map advantage to get this orb prime, because there's going to be that constant pressure in that duo lane unless Nivulua can somehow magically super clear the next 1 or 2 waves. But even then, it's still going to be a ticking time bomb against Ram Ranch.
Yeah, you're a member down essentially, because that you have to leave somebody over there. Otherwise, those creeps, they want to win just as much as you do. They're going to go right for the core. So you have to be careful. That's a spot on the map, folks, to look at. Nivulua, he cuts a couple waves. Now he feels like he can rotate over, but will he be in time? That is the question. It is maybe too late. The prime is going down. Does the steal come through? The eclipse, though, is not there enough for the steal. There is the Coliseum. It is dropped. The cryoseism expended as well. The yell, but it falls on deaf ears. That one just tickling. Now Nivulu is here, but he is caught in the Tesla Dome. Full damage. That one is shredding all of his armor. He is just being obliterated. Mav is the one there now cleaning up the mess. That is exactly what the Chimeras like to do. Nivulua kind of locked in there by the glacial charge. The fight split between both sides. It's Zihi. He's whipping them into submission once again. And from downtown, Seismic laying in the bullets and the spells. They clean them up. It's only, once again, Nivulua doesn't live to tell the tale, Doc. We got an RGS ace in the prime pit.
That is another RGS ace, and most likely another one leading to the end of a game, an end of a banger game 3 here in this series 1 of week 1 of season 2 of the PPL. I know that was a lot of numbers. Sorry. But I mean, holy crap. That is clinical gameplay coming out from Primal, the way that they are just leveraging their advantages, playing, spacing in the pit, playing and covering one another and peeling. Absolutely incredible.
And there it is, folks. The Tesla Dome in celebration. The core shattered into pieces, and Primal will be your series victor. They win the $100 prize for week number 1. What a fantastic set.
Yeah, that was an incredible set, and the just the way that Primal's able to switch on a dime from pick comp to team fight composition, the way they're able to just be so flexible with what they're doing and so clinical. I mean, game 3 MVP for me, it has to be Mav, because of the pressure that he was applying just even by himself against Import, recognizing what the win condition was, which was stop Import from having any tempo at all and having any impact on the game. And it paid huge dividends. They come out on top in game 3 there.
Yeah, a massive play from both sides. It's been a great series to watch, and I'm sure we will see them clash again. Doc, it's been an absolute pleasure casting this one with you. We're going to send it back to you and Spooky Mars.
Yeah, that's right. You thought you were done with me, Doctor, but you don't get away that easily. You